well, I've been with my guy at Bank X, or that's where I want to stay. Why would I think about leaving? And the answer is, you're right, you might not. But wouldn't you rather have options, number one? And what's your strategy? What's the strategy in your business? What's the strategy for this loan? Do you need that lender, if he or she is your go-to person? Do you need them for the more difficult transaction that's on the horizon that you really need some help with? Then maybe the thought is moving this loan elsewhere frees that capital up and lets you take a different approach in that instance. So it's not as simple as it seems, I think, on its surface. And I think Quinn is spot on. If there's one thing that you see consistently, it's timing. Having a strategy, in other words, knowing what you want to do. Do you want to sell? Do you not want to sell? Why? Then comes down to, well, if you're going to keep it and refinance it, okay, for how long? And what about your lender relationships? Are you completely sure about that relationship? You need to constantly take the pulse of that. So there's a lot that goes into it that if you have the time and the inclination to do that, I guess I'd encourage you to do that yourself. I think most of the time when one takes a step back and looks at that, they think, no, I'm really not. That's not my business. My business is owning and operating real estate, not necessarily financing it. And there's good reason for that, because it's hugely time consuming and requires a certain different expertise. I wouldn't purport to be able to run your project. And so I'm not surprised to know that you wouldn't necessarily know all the right questions to ask to refinance your project.